What's up, guys? Welcome to 3BS. Today's episode is pretty much just draft rumors. As of today, only 3 days left till draft day, so obviously a lot of rumors are going to start coming up. So first thing we're going to start with, which I found really interesting, Bleacher Report's Matt Miller wrote Friday that former Alabama star could absolutely fall in this draft because of injury concerns. He also noted that there is growing buzz that the Miami Dolphins will take Oregon quarterback Justin Herbert instead of Tagovailoa with the number 5 overall pick. What's your insight on that, kid?
Yeah, I feel like that's a growing possibility. I was prior to this week, I was a huge believer that the Tua injury concerns that they weren't really big on, teams weren't really big on it. I would say that they had a concern for it, but not as big now. But in the past couple of days, it's really been growing that that's a huge problem for teams, and I could definitely see the Dolphins taking Herbert over Tua now.
Yeah, I could definitely agree with that too. Like I said, I guess he did get his physical then, but I get a lot of people are still pretty worried about that. Not that Herbert's a bad quarterback at all. I think he's excellent talent. So I think that this is definitely a possibility. Like you said, I've been seeing things all over recently about it. It's a growing rumor. Obviously not 100% true, but who knows. So I think if they take Herbert, I think he'd be a pretty good fit. But I mean, we just have to see what happens, and maybe would that cause the Chargers to end up taking Tua there? So we still have to see what happens with that.
We could also see maybe Tua slide in the draft.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe if they choose to take, a different
Maybe that
position at number 5 and, risk it for the biscuit and let him fall down and, with those two other first round picks that they have, maybe get him down there. It's all up to them. Next thing that was surfaced is the 49ers do not have any picks in the second, third, or fourth rounds, so they are exploring their options. The second round was shipped to the Chiefs last year in the D4 trade. The third and fourth picks were sent to the Broncos for Emmanuel Sanders deal. So we could possibly see them with either one of their picks, trading back, trying to get some of those second round picks or third round picks, some later picks. So that could definitely be a team that we might see jump back come Thursday.
Yeah, they have two first round picks, but the thing is, for me, even though they don't have the second, third, and fourth round picks, I think that they're in a win now mode. They were in the Super Bowl
Yeah,
last year.
definitely.
I think that they're going to be looking for immediate impact players and not really as much depth picks in the later rounds. So I think they're going to keep their first round picks and sign players that they think can start for them and get them over the hump and win the Super Bowl.
Like we said in one of our previous videos, they're definitely a team that's very, very few holes to fill. So I mean, I definitely agree with that. If I were them, I'd personally stay there. Get the definite players that are gonna impact our team right away. That's gonna help us, get over that last little hill and actually win the Super Bowl. Next thing is the Lions are interested in trading down from the number 3 spot. They made it no secret that sliding down is their preference, and they've been targeting and engaged in talks to that end. If the Lions can't find the right offer to slide down, which feels increasingly likely, they'll have to be happy to just take the defensive player they value most. Many have assumed for months, even us, that it would be Okuda, but in a Sports Illustrated report, that could be changing. It seems like, and I've seen a lot of reports that Detroit's coaching staff loves Derek Brown.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I think that if they do trade down, they could maybe trade let's say they trade number five and number 6, the Dolphins or Chargers. I think they can still get Okuda at that pick if that's who they want, but then also they'll be able to get Derek Brown there too. So we'll see if they do make a trade, how far down they do trade. Um, but I think that they should be going Okuda here, or even Simmons. If they decide to stay at that third pick, I think that Okuda, Simmons, or Brown, I think that they can make a really big impact on that defense. So what's your take on that, TJ?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I think Okuda would be the best bet. But I mean, you do take Derek Brown, maybe pass up on Okuda. I mean, even in the second round, this year in the draft, the cornerback position is it's pretty deep. for the most part. Not only like I went running back is not very deep this year, but I'd say two biggest things is probably offensive lineman, wide receiver, and cornerback. So if they do, want to maybe trade back or stay in that spot and do take Derek Brown, I think that they can probably assess the cornerback situation later in the draft.
Yeah, I think that also the Lions are one of the biggest candidates for a trade back scenario, just
Mhm.
because of all the impact players the defensive impact players that they can get within the top 7 picks. You have Isaiah Simmons, Okuda, Derek Brown, just to name a few.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that we're just gonna have to wait to see if they do decide to trade back what they're gonna be getting.
Yep. Next one is another thing regarding Miami is everyone has talked about the Dolphins drafting a franchise quarterback with their top pick for over a year now. Pro Football Network's Tony Pauling said that they could pass on a signal caller with the number 5 selection and grab a top defender or offensive lineman. It would provide a major shakeup for the 2020 NFL draft. There is an understandable case to be made for it. So I guess a lot of reports are also saying that, maybe they don't even take a quarterback at all with that number 5 pick. Maybe they wait until one of their later picks. I mean, another player that if I were the Dolphins, that, I think that would be a pretty good quarterback and fit the system pretty well, who a lot of people say looks just like Pat Mahomes, Jordan Love. I saw a lot of videos about him today. I was watching some of his highlights. Like, looks like a really good player. A lot of people are comparing him to Pat Mahomes. So maybe that's something that they decide to do, because in those top picks up there, like you just said, it's just so stacked defensive wise. I mean, you have Okuda, Simmons, like just a lot of big name players that they could add to that defense and make that big, and then maybe assess that quarterback situation later in the draft with one of their other picks.
Yeah, that number 5 pick, they're gonna have some options. They feel that Tua's injuries are a big concern, and they pass on him, and they're not very high on Herbert. I could definitely see them going and filling out their offensive line. Maybe bring in one of those defensive pieces or trade back, get a lot of value. There's a lot of value at that number 5 pick. So if they would decide to go elsewhere from Tua or even Herbert, lineman. There's going to be a lot of great linemen there. The only team above them that would consider drafting a lineman is the Giants at 4. So they're still going to have their pick. And there's a lot of great talent there. So personally, I think that they should be going quarterback. I think that biggest it's the biggest need for them. You're not going to win with Ryan Fitzpatrick, and you
No.
need the future. You need Herbert or Tua, in my opinion. But I also think that Love. I think that he's going to be a project. I think he could still turn out. He could be a very good quarterback in the league under the right system. So we'll see what happens there.
Yep, I agree with you there. Atlanta Falcons could jump up for a top 5 pick. The Falcons want to move up for an impact defender. Teams across the league expect general manager Thomas Dimitroff to make a huge move early in the 2020 NFL draft. It's only a question of how far they jump. So I guess they're trying to get up there in that top 5 and maybe snag a player like Chase Young or somebody like Isaiah Simmons. But I mean, I don't know if any of those top 5 teams up there, other than there's not really a lot of teams in the top 5 in my eyes, other than the Lions, that are really going to want to trade out of that spot. And I think if they do, maybe switch out with the Lions there, if they're really shooting for Chase Young, I think that he's already going to be gone at that number 2 pick.
Yeah. Sorry, you were talking about the Falcons, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that if they would trade up, I could see that the Giants trading their pick too.
it's definitely a
Um,
possibility.
I don't see the Redskins or Bengals trading their pick though, but if they do decide to move up, I think that the number 3 pick, it's a big possibility. I think Isaiah Simmons would pair nicely alongside Deion Jones in that defense. But then again, they also do need a cornerback. But there's definitely a more depth at cornerback in this draft. So I think that using one of their later picks could fill that need. I think Isaiah Simmons, like I said, alongside Deion Jones, that could be a deadly
Good pick.
linebacker core. So, um, if they move up, I think that Isaiah Simmons would be the pick.
If I agree. Another growing rumor is that the Green Bay Packers could also draft a quarterback in the first round.
I think that that's a slap in the face to Aaron Rodgers. Personally, he has a lot of he has a lot in the tank left. How he had to sit under Favre, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that they're going to want to do that with another quarterback. Doesn't make sense to me. I think that they can. I still think that they're in contention to win a championship there this year. So if they go out and get an impact player right away, if that's a receiver, they need some receiver help. But I just don't think that a quarterback is the selection for the Packers.
Yeah, I wouldn't really go that route either. But I mean, you could argue Aaron Rodgers is, kind of getting up in age. I don't really know how much more time he really has left in the tank. So, I mean, if they do go the quarterback route, it might be one of those scenarios where it's, just like the Packers have done before, let Favre pass the torch down to Rodgers, let Rodgers do the same, or how Montana passed the torch down to Steve Young. So it just might be something like that, maybe. But if they are going to take a QB in this draft, I mean, how far does the talent really fall off after the first round if you're really looking for a quarterback like that? I'd say if for them, I'm trying to win with Rodgers right now. I'm trying to in this draft surround him with weapons. Depending on how this season goes, maybe then next year, assess that and maybe try and trade up for somebody, like Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I just think that Rodgers has too much left for them to make that selection now.
Yep. Another rumor is the Chiefs could trade up for a top wide receiver. Obviously, just came off a Super Bowl winning season. Have undeniably the best quarterback in the NFL right now. But after Tyreek Hill, does the receiver talent kind of fall off to you in your eyes, or?
I think that Hardman and Watkins. I think that I don't know. It's tough. They're definitely not stud like stars, but they'll make a play. Like you watch the Chiefs, they're gonna make plays for Mahomes.
Mhm.
When Mahomes gets out of the pocket, like their receivers aren't really based off of like they're not like one dimensional. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like they're gonna make plays. Like they're gonna like reroute. You know, so I don't think that a receiver's a big need for them. But because they also have Travis Kelce to throw to, probably the best tight end in the league. If not, he's top two. So unless Ruggs would fall, speed kills in the NFL. I think that would be insanely hard to guard Ruggs, Tyreek Hill, and Hardman
yeah,
for a team. That's just too much speed. So I'm not. If they would have to trade up like and give a lot up, I'm not a fan of that. But if they're like trading into like the 20s, if Ruggs would fall for some
yeah.
reason,
That's
then
exactly.
I'm on board with that.
Yep, I agree with that. That's what it seems like a lot of people are saying. That they're interested in Ruggs, and if he were to fall, like you said, into the 20s, that might be a understandable trade scenario. Next one is my Philadelphia Eagles. Uh, the Eagles are, as everybody knows, aggressively pursuing a wide receiver. But Howie Roseman, there's been a lot of reports coming out that CeeDee Lamb is quote unquote the apple of his eye. He really likes him, and kind of feels like at 21, he's not gonna. We're not even gonna be close to touching him there. And uh, I feel like at that 21 spot, the best if they're happy with Jefferson, if they really like him, I think that he's after, Judy, Ruggs, and Lamb are gone. I think Jefferson's like the best bet. He's obviously not as elite in my eyes as those three top wide receivers. So unless they're not happy with Jefferson, which I mean I would definitely be happy with Justin Jefferson, if they're not happy with him, then I'd say, yeah, trade up and, try and go for Lamb. If you're going to trade up to try and get one of those three elites, then I'd go all in for Lamb.
Yeah, the Eagles definitely need a receiver. It's no question there. I in almost every mock draft I've been seeing Jefferson going to the Eagles at 21, but recently I've also been seeing him climbing up draft boards at the same time. So I'm not opposed at all to the Eagles trading up to get Lamb if that's their number one guy. But I don't think that they should be trading up and then not getting the guy they want. I think if they want to trade up, make sure they get whoever they want, if that is Lamb out of the top three receivers. But I also think that Jefferson can fall to their pick. So, and I think he's a great receiver. I think that he
Yeah.
can have a good career in the NFL. So it's really, it's if they want Lamb that bad, I think you go out and trade for him.
Yep, I agree. Justin Jefferson, though, I mean, he's an excellent receiver. I think the one reason that, like, a lot of people are kind of hesitant on him, I mean, the talent on that team, like, I feel like he was kind of like shoved under the carpet because he was playing next to, the number one draft pick probably in this year's draft, Joe Burrow.
Yeah, he put up
And the
amazing
talent on
numbers.
that talent on that team is just so sometimes when you have a team like that, certain players like that just kind of get like, hidden. But I mean, his 40 time at the combine showed a lot of
I just think
promising
that
things.
his play in the college football playoff just showed his true potential. I think he had 4 touchdowns against Oklahoma, so that just shows you what he's capable of.
Yep. That's pretty much all the rumors we have. We'll definitely, as time goes on, still have a couple days here before this draft. Definitely make a few more videos because, I'm sure a lot of as you get closer, we might see some, early trade ups or stuff like that. So, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll be coming out with more content shortly.